Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So it appears Donald Trump is just going to leave the White House the same way he came in, the same way he occupied it for 4 years now, with no dignity, no courage, like a spoiled brat, throwing a tantrum. And he's going to take the same circus out, or at least a similar circus with just different clowns. Seriously, have you ever seen or have we ever had a weaker, more whiny, crying excuse for a man in the Oval Office? It's absolutely pathetic. And if any of you saw that completely broke down, low rent press conference that Rudy Giuliani gave over the weekend. I mean, it's like a scene from Arrested Development. And I'm a huge fan. If you're listening and you haven't watched that show, oh my gosh, you're missing out. You need to go watch it. After you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like something Job would do, holding a press conference in front of a landscaping company right next door to a porn store or some sort of X-rated shop across the street from a crematorium. I mean, oh my God. Oh, you can't make this shit up. So back to Trump, the whiny brat. Of course, he's refusing to accept the election results. He claims it's all rigged, and he just doesn't understand that for the first time in his life, he has no choice. He can't bully his way into staying in the office. And here is the reality. Republicans don't care. He and his kids are out there complaining and whining and crying about how nobody will help daddy. Nobody will help him to lie and cheat and stay in office, even though he legitimately lost by almost 5 million votes. The reality is Republicans aren't going to help him because they got everything they want from him already. It's the old why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free adage. He should have known by giving them all of these judges, by giving them their wish, their tax cuts for the rich, they have no use for him. I said this 4 years ago when he took office. I said back then that as soon as they got what they wanted, because they can't stand him either, he is everything a traditional Republican is and stands for, but he's too stupid to know that you don't say it out loud. He's too ignorant to know that you play with your cards close to your vest and you don't give away the farm, you don't tell everyone and telegraph what it is you're doing and how you're screwing people over and hurting people. Republicans are really good at keeping that on the down low. They're really good at just keeping that a secret and pretending that they're doing the right thing while screwing everybody over. But Trump says the quiet part out loud. That's what they don't like about him. That's why they love his policies, but they don't like him. And so, of course, as soon as they got what they wanted, they dumped him. He was the prom date. They just were hoping to hit it and quit it. He's done. They have no use for him anymore at this point. They're not going to stick up for him. They're not going to help him get another term. They don't want him in there any more than the Democrats do. But of course, this isn't stopping him from trying. So his administration, he still does have some loyalists in his administration. And his general services administrator, a woman named Emily Murphy, is refusing to follow standard protocol, which requires that her office not only sign paperwork and turn it over, but there's millions of dollars that need to be turned over to the Biden team that's needed for salaries and administrative support, and it's all to set up the incoming government. And Murphy is also required to grant access to Biden's incoming administration to various government officials, different computer systems, office space, and different equipment that they need. All taxpayer funded, by the way. It's not owned by her. It's ours. And she's got the keys and refusing to turn it over, even though the majority of America said, this is who we want, give it to him. And she's saying, nope, not going to do it. So one senior administration official spoke anonymously, of course, because they're all freaking wimps, and said, quote, no agency head is going to get out in front of the president on transition issues right now. And they said that they suspect Trump will order his agency heads to not speak with Biden's team, which was pretty much then confirmed on a call last Friday with a woman named Mary Gibbert. She's the head of the presidential transition team at the General Services Administration office. And she told those on the call that their agency was basically not to work with or schedule meetings with anyone from Biden's team until there is, quote, ascertainment. What the hell does that mean? Ascertainment of what? That Trump is going to stop sucking his thumb, stop holding his breath until he turns blue, and finally admit that he's a loser and that's why he lost, because losers lose? I mean, this is not only childish, but it's also selfish and dangerous. And I hope it shows people once and for all that Trump doesn't give a damn about national security. He doesn't give a damn about helping the American people. Every day that his administration withholds resources and refuses to work with the incoming administration, they place our country and the American people at risk, especially right now. We have COVID cases spiking throughout the country. We've had day after day after day over the last week of hitting all-time new record highs in COVID cases. If you don't talk to the incoming administration, how is there going to be any continuity? It's unbelievable how childish, how immature he is, and how selfish. So Trump's now claiming he'll peacefully transfer power to Biden if his legal maneuvers fail. Now, some people believe he might resign early if Pence agrees to pardon him for all of his crimes in advance. However, Trump and his co-conspirators and his family members cannot be pardoned for state crimes. And it's appearing more and more likely that the attorney generals in several states have been sitting on indictments, just waiting for Trump to leave office. So beyond the $100 million that Trump reportedly owes and will be hit with in the next couple of years, he also has to be terrified of losing due to the very real possibility that he's going to face jail time. And it will likely be for the remainder of his miserable life. And not just him, I mean, his children, his equally repulsive criminal friends who weren't smart enough to stay off the tracks when the Trump train came barreling down recently. I mean, so, you know, Trump's chances of retiring wealthy and spending his days relaxing at Mar-a-Lago and on the golf course are really unlikely, because the one and only bank that was still willing to lend him money, even after his 6 bankruptcies and dozens of failed businesses, was Deutsche Bank. And now they've even said that they plan to sever ties with Trump. So who's going to be left? Who's going to lend money to one-term Trump, who's drowning in debt, staring down the barrel of potential jail time for the rest of his life? I wouldn't lend him a dime. You'll never get, I mean, even in the past, even before all this, you would never get it back. He has a history of not paying his debts. That's why nobody would lend to him. The guy's doomed. And if Melania thought that she was going to get some great payday, good luck. And, and the thought crossed my mind too, what happens to Trump's grandchildren and what happens to Barron? Because Republicans have said for the last 4 years that when you are arrested, when you do something illegal, your children get taken from you and that they are to be put in a cage. Like, that's normal, that if you commit a criminal act, you should be taken away, you should go to jail, and your children should be taken away and put in a cage with strangers. So does that mean when Trump goes to prison and Melania maybe is implicated in all of it? Who knows? I mean, if they both went to prison, does that mean Barron gets put in a cage at the border? Maybe sent off to live with strangers, eventually adopted by strangers? Do Ivanka's kids and Don Jr.'s kids, all of the grandchildren get put in cages? I mean, that's what they said. That's what they said you're supposed to do. So I don't know. All right, guys. As always, like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching and listening. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.